The most dangerous person in your life has probably never raised their voice at you. They smile more than anyone else in the room. They remember your birthday. They compliment your work in front of the boss. And they are quietly taking you apart, piece by piece. Psychologists have a name for this pattern, the dark triad. 3 personality traits that overlap into one toxic cluster: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy. Here is the part nobody wants to hear. These traits don't just survive in modern society. They thrive in it. They climb corporate ladders faster than kindness ever will. They win elections. They build empires. And history's worst dictators scored off the charts on all 3. So today, we're going to do something uncomfortable. We're going to learn how these people think, why the world keeps rewarding them, and how to spot one before they get their hooks into you. Because here's the stakes. Researchers estimate that dark triad traits show up meaningfully in about 1 in every 100 people for full psychopathy. Milder versions are far more common. Statistically, you already know several. You might work for one. You might be dating one. And if you can't recognize the pattern, you become the resource they consume. Let's start with the first corner of the triangle: narcissism. You've heard this word 1,000 times on your feed, but most people get it completely wrong. Narcissism isn't loving yourself. It's the opposite. It's a fragile ego wearing a suit of armor made of applause. The narcissist needs a constant drip of admiration just to feel like they exist. Psychologists call it narcissistic supply. Attention is their oxygen. Praise works, but here's the twist. Your fear works too. Your anger works. Any reaction proves they matter. That's why arguing with a narcissist feels like feeding a fire to put it out. Now watch what happens when you criticize one. Even gently, the armor cracks. And underneath is something researchers call narcissistic injury. A rage so disproportionate it feels like you insulted their entire existence, because in their mind, you did. Their inflated self-image is a load-bearing wall. Touch it, and the whole building shakes. Corner number 2, Machiavellianism. Named after Niccolo Machiavelli, a Florentine diplomat from the 1500s. He wrote a little book called The Prince, a manual for rulers on how to gain power and keep it. Machiavelli was describing politics, but 500 years later, psychologists borrowed his name for something darker. A personality that treats every relationship as a chess game. The Machiavellian doesn't have friends. They have assets. They flatter strategically. They withhold information like currency. They tell you exactly what you need to hear, exactly when you need to hear it, not because they care. High Machiavellians are often incredibly pleasant to be around. Charm is cheaper than force, and it leaves no fingerprints. And corner number 3, the one that gives this triangle its teeth: psychopathy. Forget the movie version. No basement, no violin music, no dramatic monologue. Real psychopathy is quieter and far more common. It's defined by 2 missing pieces: empathy and fear. When you watch someone cry, your brain lights up as if you were in pain too. That's empathy, and it happens automatically. In psychopathic brains, that circuit runs cold. Brain imaging studies show reduced activity in the amygdala, the region that processes fear and emotional learning. They can recognize your distress intellectually. They just don't feel it. Imagine watching someone drown and feeling exactly what you feel watching a screensaver. That's the emotional landscape. Now, 3 ingredients on their own are bad enough, but mix them, and something monstrous emerges. Narcissism supplies the motive. I deserve everything. Machiavellianism supplies the method. I'll take it strategically. Psychopathy removes the brakes, and I won't feel a thing. Motive, method, and no brakes. That's the machine. Which brings us to history, because this machine has been running for thousands of years. Ancient Rome actually had an official job called dictator. It wasn't an insult, it was an emergency position. Granted by the Senate, strictly limited in time. One person, absolute power, temporary crisis, then hand the power back. And for centuries, remarkably, they did hand it back. Until they didn't. A general named Sulla seized the title after a civil war and erased the time limit. Then came Julius Caesar. In 44 BC, he had himself declared dictator perpetuo, dictator in perpetuity, forever. He was assassinated 1 month later. Notice the pattern. The system built a tool for emergencies. And a certain kind of personality saw the tool and thought, why would I ever put that down? Fast forward 2,000 years and the pattern repeats with terrifying precision. Cult of personality, repression of opponents, control of information, increasingly absurd titles. Uganda's Idi Amin literally styled himself conqueror of the British Empire, among a paragraph of other honors he awarded himself. That's not politics. That's narcissistic supply on a national scale. Stalin ran a state through secret police and fear. Pure Machiavellian control, better to be feared than loved, taken to its logical extreme. And the atrocities, the purges, the camps, the genocides, millions of human lives treated as obstacles on a spreadsheet, maybe of laid when. If these traits are so destructive, why hasn't society filtered them out? Now, the answer is brutal. Our system systems for choosing leaders accidentally select for the dark triad. Think about a job interview. What wins? Confidence, charm, bold claims, zero visible anxiety. Now describe a psychopathic narcissist. Confidence, charm, bold claims, zero anxiety of any kind. It's the same list. We built a filter for competence, and it lets predators through by design. Studies of corporate leadership have found psychopathic traits several times more common in executive suites than in the general population. The dark triad candidate has no such hesitation, because to them it isn't lying, it's just moves on the board. Politics is worse. Campaigning rewards shameless self-promotion, ruthless attacks, and the ability to smile while doing both. A person with normal levels of shame gets filtered out early. The person who feels no shame keeps climbing. In stable times, institutions mostly hold them back. But in a crisis, people crave certainty, and nobody projects certainty like someone incapable of doubt. That's the Roman lesson all over again. Emergencies open the door, and nobody projects certainty. Okay, enough about dictators. Let's talk about your life. Because you will probably never meet a tyrant, but you will absolutely meet the office version, the dating version, the family version. Here's how to spot them. Red flag 1, the love bomb. In the beginning, they are perfect. Overwhelming attention, rapid intimacy. You've never felt so seen. That's not romance. That's an investment strategy. Healthy connection builds slowly, like a house. Manipulation arrives fully furnished, and you should ask who paid for it. Red flag 2. Watch how they treat people who can't help them. The waiter, the intern, the person they just broke up with. Charm aimed upward and contempt aimed downward is a Machiavellian signature. Red flag 3. The reality edit. You confront them about something they clearly did, and they calmly explain it never happened. You're remembering wrong. You're too sensitive. This is gaslighting, and it works because your brain would rather doubt itself than believe someone you love is rewriting reality on purpose. Red flag 4, no genuine apologies. You'll get, "I'm sorry you feel that way," which, if you listen closely, is an apology for your feelings, not their actions. Real remorse requires empathy. You can't fake what you can't feel, not forever. And red flag 5, the pattern of discarded people. Every ex is crazy. Every old friend betrayed them. Every former coworker was jealous. One villain in your past is bad luck. A graveyard of villains means you're talking to the villain. Now, an important dose of honesty. These traits exist on a spectrum, and everyone has a little. You've fished for a compliment. You've been strategic in a negotiation. That doesn't make you a monster. In fact, here's the twist that ties everything together. If you're sitting there worried you might be one of these people, that worry is your answer. That anxiety is empathy and conscience doing their job. The genuine dark triad mind never asks the question. It never worries about hurting people because that circuit was never wired in. The difference isn't perfection. It's whether guilt exists in you at all. So what do you actually do when you spot one? Rule 1, you will not fix them. Your love is not a personality transplant. Rule 2, stop feeding the machine. No dramatic reactions, no emotional fuel, just boring, gray, minimal responses. Predators leave empty watering holes. Rule 3, keep receipts. Write things down, save messages, trust your documented memory over their confident revisions. And rule 4, when you can, simply leave. Distance is the one manipulation-proof strategy ever invented. Step back and look at what we've uncovered. Their same 3-part machine runs at every scale. In Rome, it turned an emergency job title into a throne. In the 20th century, it built cults of personality and filled unmarked graves. And in your daily life, it's the coworker who takes credit, the partner who rewrites your memories, the friend who only calls when they need something. Same triangle, different stage. The dictators just had bigger audiences and fewer exits. But here's the hopeful part. The dark triad only works in the dark. Every tactic, the love bombing, the gaslighting, the strategic charm, depends on you not knowing the playbook. But check the exits, because the most important psychology lesson isn't about them. It's that your empathy, the thing manipulators exploit, is also the thing they can never have. Guard it. Don't lose it. If this changed how you see the people around you, subscribe. There are more mysteries of the human mind waiting, and some of them are hiding in plain sight. Please.